evening. Welcome to the October 20th, 2025 Arts Commission regular meeting. Effective October 17th, 2023, public comments may be made in person or in writing. If you would like to view the meeting remotely, you may do so in one of our following ways: YouTube Live, Comcast Cable Channel 28, Rossmore Channel 26, Astound Channel 31, and AT&T Uverse Channel 99, or live stream online at the city's website. Secretary.
Okay, we'll do the roll. Commissioner Perelman.
Here.
Commissioner Dresser.
Present.
Commissioner Klauber.
Here.
Commissioner Tesfaye.
Here.
Vice Chair Magnani.
Here.
And Chair Baltazar.
Presente. Next on the agenda is public communications. This portion of the meeting is reserved for comment on items not on the agenda. Under the Brown Act, the commission cannot act on items raised during public communications, but may respond briefly to statements made or questions posed, request clarification, or refer the item to staff. Are there any? Great. The next on the agenda is the consent calendar. Does any commissioner have questions on any item on the consent calendar?
We do not.
Thank you, Commissioner. Do I just wait? Someone needs to call for a motion, right? Oh, great. Is there any public comment?
I move that we approve everything on our consent calendar.
Second.
Okay, Commissioner Perelman.
Aye.
Commissioner Dresser.
Aye.
Commissioner Klauber.
Aye.
Commissioner Tesfaye.
Aye.
Vice Chair Magnani.
Aye.
And Chair Baltazar.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Great. Next on the agenda is an item for commission consideration. It's item 4A, consideration of the proposed mural sites, concept illustrations, and budget allocations for 4 mural renderings submitted for the Mural Grant Program. At this time, I'm going to invite staff, right? Here we go.
All right. Good evening, commissioners. My name is Mariah Nelson, Public Art Manager for the city. And first agenda item is to review a mural proposal from Trent Thompson of ABG Art Group, submitted as part of his grant application. I'm just going to do a quick refresher. If you'll recall, the grant was first launched in 2023. And in the 2 years that it was open and available, we realized no murals with it. So at the January 2025 meeting, the Arts Commission approved a restructuring of the grant. So this took effect in January. The revised program eliminates the match requirement and instead offers a more accessible grant of up to $30,000 per fiscal year. And that is to be distributed at the discretion of the commission. So tonight, we are pleased to welcome Trent Thompson of ABG Art Group. He's here to present his concept for all of you. He has a series of mural installations across several buildings or walls. And I just want to mention that in addition to being a very talented artist himself, he has actually already realized several large-scale mural projects with other cities and organizations, including one right here in Walnut Creek that you're probably familiar with, the Trinity Center. He partnered with the youth, and that's the mural up at Honda. So with that, I'll hand it over to Trent.
Let me just familiarize myself with this. Okay, we're good. Hello, commissioners. Thank you for having me. Just to add a bit of context here, we're aiming to do 4 different locations. This is a result of a collaboration between building owners, artists, hopefully you all, and really came from interest from a handful of building owners that I've done some work with in the past, and then also I don't know how long ago it was that Mariah and I had sat down and she had told me about the matching fund program. And I think the proof is in the pudding that being that sat there for 2 years, I'm excited at the way that it was restructured, because in order to make these murals happen, it does take a lot. Someone has to go do the legwork to get the building owners on board and get those designs and make all the cooks in the kitchen agree to what we're doing. So more than an artist on a project, that's more of what my role has been, just trying to put the pieces together for this project. So I'll just read through this. We're aiming to create a Walnut Creek mural program by creating collaborations between local artists, building owners, and the city of Walnut Creek, produced by ABG Art Group, which is my company. We do large-scale art installation all over the Bay Area, and we'd love to do more and more here in Walnut Creek. Currently engaged collaborators include the Walnut Creek Downtown Association, BH Development, which is Brian Harihara, Comerica, and Zebra Tattoo. There's all of those kind of entities have multiple excited participants within them. We have Sean here, who's with Zebra Tattoo. Here, if you guys have questions on that specific project. And just to go towards like some of the legwork of the challenges of making these projects happen, I want you to kind of see, I want to just call attention to the legwork that's been put into this, because we do already have 4 signed approvals for mural locations with building owners signed permissions. We do have 4 approved artists and teams where we presented a group of local artists to the building owners. They deliberated amongst their teams, selected which artists they wanted to work with, then have also already compensated those artists to do back and forth with design. And so what you guys are getting here today is already, all of the work has been done as far as getting the permissions and getting sign off from the building ownership, tenants of the buildings, all of the necessary parties. And finally, beyond just that, we are requesting more than what we have. So I'm happy that the 1-to-1 match is not a requirement, but we're also coming with financial contributions committed from these building owners. And we have 5 different financial sponsors who have agreed to be a part of this in different amounts. I could have just showed you that instead of doing this whole long ramble, but essentially these are the steps that we have passed, and now we're at the submit for city approval. So just want you guys to recognize that, yeah, this feels like maybe we're graduating onto the part where we actually get to put paint on the walls. So I'll read through this. Based on market square footage, the career stage of the artists, and comparable programs we're producing in other cities, the market rate for these 4 murals could justify a higher budget. That being said, given our conversations with artists, the management support required, and our shared desire to see this project off the ground, we hope that with the city's partnership, we can at least fund these projects within the lower end of industry standards, which is actually, I want to commend the city of Walnut Creek. Oftentimes the city, when we come with proposals, it's very rare that the city is like, you need to pay more to these. Like we had kind of come at this is what it will take to get off the ground, and we just want to make sure that we, to your credit, that we are at least getting within the industry standards so these artists can make some money on their projects. We have independently fundraised committed $16,000, contingent on at least a 1-to-1 match from the building owners. We hope you recognize the legwork, initiative, and community investment is taken to get to this point. We invite the City of Walnut Creek and Art Committee to join in the building on the momentum. By producing all 4 walls simultaneously, we hope to create some organic energy around the program, foster goodwill within the community, and highlight the Walnut Creek Art Program through community building around the packaged initiative. I think if we're able to do all 4, I do understand that you all have the discretion to say we want to do 1 and 3 or 2 and 4. We're proposing all 4 because we think that if we get the train moving, people will jump on. People will be, it'll be a bit of a mural festival. There'll be a food element, and someone will want to come play music, and we're just hoping to create some of that momentum by doing all of them. However, partial funding of the program through contributions towards individual walls would also be helpful. And that's, I know, what you guys will be deliberating on tonight. This is just like ugly wall, pretty wall. Let's do it. Wait, this is about me and my business and some of the large scale and community operations that we do throughout the Bay Area. I'll gloss through this because I know you guys want to see pictures and walls. Here's some other like large scale murals, just kind of adding to our portfolio and expertise. Some more, some tall ones, some long ones, some pretty ones, some bright ones. This is just, you know, a few slides about who we're prioritizing working with. Large scale public art is an industry traditionally dominated by people that look like me. So we're doing our part to spread the love. And this is not something we're doing in response to just recent things, but is very much something that's shown in our portfolio from way before 2020 when that was the thing when people started doing that. So this is just kind of more about some of our history. I'm going to slide through all this. The game plan, this is the fun part. The walls, the artists, and the designs. We'll start with wall number 1. This is, the address is 1419 North Broadway. I think it's a great wall. Has some minor challenges with the piping and things. My personal opinion is the great spots for the murals are the walls that aren't beautiful unless you paint them. I think like sometimes you'll see like beautiful brick and then people want to paint the mural over it. To me, those aren't the walls that need the attention. It's walls like these that are a great canvas but have some character. General dimensions, it's about 12 feet tall by about 70 feet wall. What I did here is I put in kind of our, like a high-end budget and then what we're requesting from the city to get this off the ground. And you'll see that as we slide through all of these. And like I mentioned, we will happily accept any portion of these amount that you guys are able to allocate, but this is what we're requesting. Because of the challenges, we felt like Steve Anderson was an amazing artist. The tenant building ownership wanted to do something celebrating local flora and fauna. Steve has a large portfolio doing just that with local connections here in Walnut Creek, and also his mixed media between using traditional bucket paints and then spray paints. So I think this would be that style lends to him being able to easily get around some of these tough objects and incorporate those into the wall. So we felt like he's a great fit, and the stakeholders agreed. Here's some more like floral. And the approved design is native florals. Essentially, you know, you can kind of see some of the level of detail here that you'll actually have rendered. But this is the layout as Steve proposed. Now, I don't know if you guys want to stop and ask questions or make comments wall by wall, or if you want me to just kind of get through this and then you guys want to assess. What do you think works best? Just cruise through it. Okay. So that is wall number 1. Wall number 2, so this is adjacent to that. This is the same building. So the first 3 walls are actually right all in this area. As you might, there's some perks and some downfalls to each of the walls, but I think by creating this like mural destination, by being able to do all 3, we're really excited about like there's a mural hotspot over here. This tunnel is an awesome opportunity for a bit more of an immersive experience. They're pretty much all the same length, but different heights. Similar budget. The windows and doors kind of create some challenges here. And the artists here, Walnut Creek residents, they might have just moved, but they have ties. So I'm just going to claim it for now. This is a husband and wife duo, Joey and Alexandra. They both have unique styles, but work together often. Here's Alex's on the right, one of Joey's pieces here on the left. Very vibrant, always kind of has something to do with nature. This one, we also wanted to do something that ties a little bit without it being like definitively signage, but we do want this. There's a tattoo shop right here. It kind of fits the vibe of what's happening here in this tunnel, which we're excited about. So they took the time to put this design together. Another completely different style, but kind of local flora and fauna theme around the doors, just adding some color to this tunnel here. And you can see kind of how it would interact around the windows and doors. This is the third wall. So this is also right in that same area. This is just the other side. So you have wall 1, a tunnel, and then wall 3, which is on the other side of that building. This one is probably traditionally the flattest location. I think foot traffic wise, all 3 of these locations get incredible traffic. The first one probably gets the best, I think, driving traffic. This one gets a ton of eyeballs as well. I will say on the first 2 walls, because I think this is something for you all to keep in consideration, some of that $16,000 that we have committed is wall specific. So, you know, this building owner says like, I would be happy to fund a portion on wall 1. I would be happy to portion, you know. So the first 2 walls, we do have, I'll say, a higher buy-in from stakeholders than this wall. But this wall we're also very excited about, and we do have the permissions. But I just want to kind of, there will be some engineering we need to do as far as if we just want to fund this one, that has effect on what contributions we have from the building owner. So if you guys have questions about that, I'm happy to explain. On this one, we wanted to do a bit of it's a cultural mashup. So this is the one where I am putting on my artist hat and collaborating with another artist. He is a mixed race Chinese person, is kind of like the characteristics and culture he's pulling from for this design. And here's his work on the right, mine on the left. We've done many projects together, and we're excited about this one. This is essentially a project where we're going kind of, these patterns are essentially fusing through different styles, where you kind of have this dichotomy of what you see on the right versus the left, matching, but also, you know, having this unique play as you go through it. I do think that will probably go a little less saturated in real life than this one when we see it on the wall. Some of these colors are like really coming through because of the rendering. It'll be a little bit more smack you in the face, a little bit less, I think, when you're seeing it in real life. Our fourth wall, which is just a street over, is a bit smaller, maybe even higher traffic area. This one's really cool. There's a new shop here in 1372 North Main. This one we have, they're excited about it. The building owner who actually owns the wall is excited about it. Then the tenant inside is excited about it. And then Brian, who's a local developer, his sister, like there's so many people that want to make this one happen. So the artist here is Zoe Adia Boston. They really wanted to do something that kind of also, I think in a lot of ways ties all of these together, where there is some like flora and fauna, but also some cultural pattern work. This piece is contemporary play on traditional ideas, something playful and fun, while still seamlessly fitting into the Walnut Creek Art Collection. And then this is some, that's Zoe, well, it's the back of her head, but this is Zoe and some of her work. I think this one on the left is kind of a good stylistic interpretation of just how she's doing this surreal scene, where it's something not purely traditional, but still lends to something that's a bit, I'll say, safer in style choice. And so this is essentially the proposal she's making, like painting this kind of faux archway with the scene happening behind it. And you have, of course, like the rolling hills and local flora and fauna here. And this I'm just throwing out there. I'm excited to have been able to put some of this legwork together, hoping that we can make these walls happen. And also, here's lots of other boring blank walls around Walnut Creek that maybe next year when there's more funds, we'll go knock on more doors and continue some of this momentum. So just food for thought. Wanted to end it there. I think that's it. Yeah, thank you. And yeah.
Thank you. We'll open it up for commissioner questions, right? Yep. Like, I have a few. Who wants to go first? Go ahead. Yes.
I've got some sort of process questions and then questions about some of the actual sites. These are intended to be permanent murals, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. I only asked that because one time somebody told me, well, murals are just considered temporary. So we're not,
I think it depends more on your definition of temporary than, I think generally you can expect 20 to 30-year lives out of paint on a wall. So
Okay.
if it's more than temporary.
good, okay. And I don't know if I'm reading the report right or not, but it looked to me as if the Public Arts Committee recommended all 3, and the staff is recommending all 4. Did I read that right?
No. He's presenting.
I know you're presenting all 4, but,
So staff met with the Public Art Committee, and at the time, there was discussion, strong agreement that wall number 3 and rendering number 3 was something that they all liked. And then later, staff received an email saying one said all of them, the other said just still one of them. So if that makes sense. Did that
Okay.
answer your question?
I guess.
Okay.
Okay, well, I could stop there and then come back and do the walls, or I could do my whole list.
Up to you.
Okay, I'll just keep going.
Can we take it wall by wall? And
Yeah.
each ask
Yeah,
questions
that's a good
about
idea.
Wall 1,
Let's
then
see.
go to wall 2 and get.
Yeah. I'll do wall 1 and then,
Do we have any just broader questions about the proposal itself before we go down each wall?
Or maybe like general program questions, so we can, as I mentioned, there might be some like strategy that you guys want to talk about.
I just
so-
have a question because it's seems to be a secret who the building owners are, and I know that the building owners have to be on the application. Who are the building owners for 1419 Broadway and 13?
Not a secret at all. I have,
1372 North Main.
I have like specific names. I think so you can talk more to, the first 3 walls is all one building owner, but then different tenants involved.
I don't actually care about the tenants because tenants come and go. The building owner owns the building. Who is it?
What's your building owner's name? Terry Ring.
Terry Ring. Is 1419? And how about the 1372 North on Main Street?
I can pull up all of the agreements or I'll have reference. If I can hop on the Wi-Fi. There's no way to share from here, right? Okay.
Is it a number of owners? Is that why it's
You
hard?
guys want to maybe ask Mariah a question while I
I have a question about the budget. So on one slide in your deck, you made a note of 16K fundraised.
Yes.
Then during your presentation, you talked about wanting to match the 16 from your building owners or your tenants, plus a request from the city. So are you operating with, ideally, in a perfect world, you'd have 62K for all 4 murals?
That sounds great. I was asking for less, but you can, if you got it, we'll take it.
The math
But,
wasn't mathing for me.
Essentially, when I started the legwork of putting this program together, there was the assumption that we were looking for a 1-to-1 match. So what I presented to the building owners and anyone that funded was, if you give me $5, the city, I'm gonna go ask for $5 from the city.
Okay.
So that's where I fundraised 16,000, which 32,000 would not be enough to completely fund these. But then Mariah had told me that the program was restructured, no longer limited your contribution to one. So I'm still coming to you with that 16,000, but inviting you to contribute
Okay.
more,
So
and
it's-
then we
it's-
can make this happen.
It's lower. Okay.
Yes.
Got
I
it.
think ideally, bluntly, I think you guys have 30,000 to spend.
Right.
That would be the ask.
Understood. Okay. Should we go mural for mural?
Well, he's looking up who the building owner
Okay.
is for
Yeah.
1372 North Main.
And then, just to make sure, our decision as commissioners is around granting them something. We can't necessarily get into, and correct me if I'm wrong, the actual mural changes.
So you can provide feedback, but our focus today is your decision, which is on whether or not grant funding will be awarded to any of the proposals in front of you. So just in kind of efficiency of time, keep in mind we're looking for consensus around funding. And then you can also provide other feedback, but we need to get to a decision around any grant award.
I have a question about the grant. I know that we have 30,000 to spend, but it's per fiscal year. So, so once we spend this 30,000 this year, the next fiscal year, what do we have allotted for that? And how would that work so that we can plan ahead for more murals?
I don't know if this is a
That's an Emily question.
kosher etiquette.
Ooh,
but
this is musical
I'll just
chairs
give you those.
tonight.
Probably not, because
Good evening,
So,
Commissioners.
you
Emily
wanna
Enders,
scroll through these
curator,
and take the-
Bedford
these are all
Gallery.
the building- These are the contributions and the building owner
Oh, no, I
permissions.
don't actually want to see the individual. I want to say who owns 1372 North Main Street, so not who the tenants are, but it's who.
Terrence Ring,
Terry Inbring owns both buildings.
he owns wall 1, 2, and 3.
But how about Wall 4?
Wall 4 is,
Okay, while Trent looks that up, I'm going to answer your question about budget. Not to bore you, but fiscal years for the city run from July through June. So our fiscal year, we're in the first quarter of our fiscal year. So if the Arts Commission chooses to award all $30,000 tonight, for instance, that would max out your budget for this year. The next fiscal year starts in July of 2026, and so your budget would then be $30,000 again to allocate. So it's $30,000 per fiscal year for the next 2 budget years, which is what the Arts Commission recommended to council and council approved. And then, of course, when we are doing budgeting for the next 2 cycles, or for the next cycle, you can, as a commission, decide to increase that amount, decrease that amount, and then we would bring that to council as well for approval.
So does that mean that once we've made the decision on these, that we would have to wait till July of next year to have funding for anybody else that comes along?
If you award all $30,000 this evening, yes.
Was it $30,000, it got into the budget back in July of this year?
So we came to the commission in October with a budget development conversation. And then based on that meeting, we developed a budget and brought the final draft to you in January, which you recommended to council. And that budget is what went to council. Council approved it in June of this year. And then our fiscal year started July 1.
Yeah, the reason why I ask is because I know we've had this program now. I thought it was 3 years, but 2 years. So I thought that we would have,
It amasses year over
Yeah,
year?
like-
60.
Right. So
Thought so
what
too.
generally what happens, and this is what the Arts Commission decided when we did do our original budget, is that that money does not carry forward. Every year is a brand new budget. So if money is not used in a fiscal year, it doesn't necessarily roll over unless that request is made to finance. And that was a conversation that the Arts Commission had, but we just, as a commission, you decided that you just wanted to allocate $30,000 per fiscal year
Yeah.
and not roll that over.
So how do we, because I believe a project like this is going to be successful, but I want us to carry forward the momentum and not have because and not have $0. So like, would the staff then come back to the commission if somebody else should show up after these projects may be done, and then ask for more money before like, because it seems like July is so far away from now?
Sure. So you're saying if someone comes to us in January with a application, we would come to the commission?
Yeah.
That's for the commission to decide. So we would present the mural most likely, and then the commission would decide whether or not to allocate new funds to that. But as far as our budget stands now, there's only there are $30,000 allocated to this particular mural project.
Thank you.
I have a question. So I understand we are going with this, your business as a whole, to get the momentum going, and we need murals happening in town. I understand that, but piggybacking on not being able to have funds in case someone, another business come up, are we deciding on these buildings right now because there are no other mural opportunities that come up in our town? Are there not other things that are there any other future mural opportunities that we as commissioners have the opportunity to sort of see and decide if these are actually, giving all our funds to all for, which they're great, so I'm not minding that part, but I just wonder if there are any other opportunities had come up.
There were a couple of applications received prior. However, they did not go through because the building owners could not reach an agreement with the artists, and so none of those were pushed forward for review for the commission. We have no indication that they would come back to us. It's been a long time. That said, we see walls in the city where definitely we would love to see more mural work. However, no one at this point has come and applied for the mural grant. So I don't see, if somebody does come and apply in January, that would be wonderful, and we hope that more people do apply. But at this point, no, we don't have anybody in line that I know of.
Can we give Trent a list of addresses?
Yes.
Okay.
I do. I'm going to go back to Jill's question here. So the owner on the other one is La Miranda Development and Investment. And the principal that I have the agreement here is Laura Odom.
Let's just walk through wall one. So you're requesting 10K. Can you show us one more time? This is if I'm facing Zebra, this is the left wall with the little baby parking lot.
Correct. It's got the little kind of circular built-out
and the
sculptural
tree.
bench kind of thing as you turn in.
Okay. So 10 for this one.
They're all,
Right.
I think,
They're
the
all,
request. I think this one's 12 and all the other ones are 10.
okay,
And it's just the complexity,
yeah.
which to your point, it adds. We're requesting more than you have allocated, assuming it's just the $30,000. We added that request here because I was told that there was some inclination that not all 4 would be funded, in which case I'm like, this is what we would actually like to make it happen. That being said, if you want to do 8, and or we can, I don't know how the math will
Got
work,
it.
but
You're flexible.
I'm
and if
flexible.
not,
I'm
put the
here
whole
saying
pot in.
we have the train is moving.
Okay.
Please jump on. And these would be like good target numbers, but we'll take what you want to get.
Trent, would you go back to wall one on your screen?
Yes.
And I'm also still unclear on what we're actually doing today besides maybe allocating $30,000. Are we not? We're doing it wall by wall, but we're not discussing the art on the wall at all. In other words, if we vote yes for a wall, it means we're good with the art that Trent's showing us?
These murals, from my understanding, have been approved by the artist and the building tenants.
But they haven't been approved by the Arts
Correct.
Commission.
But there's at least 2 players in, so I guess we would determine our grant allocation could be based on the art we do or don't like.
Yeah.
So if you are awarding a grant, right, that would be a good opportunity to provide any additional feedback, or if there's feedback that you feel your fellow commissioners should hear as part of the discussion of whether or not to award a grant, that's great. If we're trending in the direction of not wanting as a collective, a consensus, not wanting to award a grant for a particular wall or concept, then we want to limit the amount of time we're spending on that discussion.
Okay, understand. Okay, my question's on wall one. I have a lot on wall one. First of all, this wall to me has one of the lowest visibilities for both vehicular traffic and pedestrians. Partly because there is a very large and old heritage valley oak sitting right next to the wall with, I call it the Joe Bologna, who's an artist, bench in front of it. This wall is only 12 feet high, and the times that I have both driven by this wall and walked by, believe me, Trent, I have been walking by these locations many times since I've known about this. And there's typically cars parked there, often, not always as high as this box truck here, but often SUVs. So fully half of the wall is obscured by cars. So it becomes to me a wall and it's more complicated because of the utilities that are there. So it's a wall, and it's also a place that people don't typically walk through. When they're next to Sasa, you can walk through this wall, through this area, and see a wall mural across from Sasa and walk through. I don't. Typically, people drive through here because that's the direction of traffic. People, if they're going to walk through, typically walk through the zebra little arcade, if you will. And the other thing is, I guess, is I'm just undone by, is that this is supposed to be native leaves, and these are tropical leaves, and none of these plants exist anywhere in Northern California. And they're under a heritage valley oak, and it has, to me, the mural has no relation to the place it sits. It's a beautiful piece of art that, to me, doesn't sit underneath a native valley oak. So that's my problem with this wall.
In your presentation, I saw another rendition for this wall, and it did not include Hawaii-type plants. Did you remember that? Because that might address what Commissioner Dresser is talking about.
I would feel really silly if I put the wrong one in there, but it's possible. Oh, I did put the wrong one in there? Oh, okay. Like one of these, you're saying?
And now, would you go to the rendering, like
Yeah.
artist? So this is tropical leaves from
Yeah.
Hawaii.
Yeah, no, I get it, but when he was presenting, so I want you to confirm to us, what is the chosen art for this? Is it this one, or is it up in the air still?
It is this one as of now. Like I said, I think that there's at the end of the day, it's like the building owner, tenant, artist, all have to be in alignment before we come to you. So this, they all are in alignment on this, and we're coming here. I'm sure if it was approved contingent on adding, this flower, this flower, and this flower, everyone would be happy to do so.
For me, it'd be contingent on having none of these leaves and having all native leaves of some sort. I want to go back to one more thing, Trent.
Yeah.
I love your mural that you did for Trinity. I've taken so many people by the Trinity mural, and every time I go, there are freaking trucks parked in front of it, and fully a third of your mural is obscured, and there's actually important information and art on the bottom of your mural. I do not like murals that are on pretty short walls like this being so obscured by vehicles. You just can't see the art, and part of your Trinity mural is lost every time people see it because there's cars parked in front of it.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have, thank you.
Sure.
Do we have additional folks on wall one?
Additional questions?
Are we doing questions or
Additional
statements?
questions at this time?
Questions?
Okay, so questions. I think the question has been addressed by Commissioner Dresser. I'll wait for statements about this.
Yeah. Should we go into wall two? Do we have questions about each one we need to discuss, or should we go into statements?
I had a question about wall one. I feel like that's a pretty dark area, especially in the evening, that wall specifically. Would the mural be illuminated somehow, or what do you plan to do with that?
We don't have a plan currently to illuminate it. I think adding some lights to it would be a great idea. Definitely something I'd be happy to suggest to building ownership.
Okay,
or
thank you.
tenant. What do you think about lights?
Well, mine is not a statement, it's more of a question, but I want to know why the building owners, or why everybody's excited about this specific space. Because I shared Commissioner Dresser's perspective. I went to see it in person. I do think anything we do there will get lost. I do appreciate being able to drive and be surprised by it. But I want to know why it's exciting for everyone. What is it that we're missing?
So I think on this one, truly this wall is the catalyst for all 4 of these walls, because of the multitude of stakeholders that want it done. So it's the parking lot owner wants it done. The tenant, Zebra, wants it done. The building owner is excited about improving the somewhat blighted wall. And then Sasa, the restaurant owner, adjacent on the other side, is also contributing to this wall. So I think as far as which one actually has the most momentum outside of this commission, it would be this wall. And ultimately, this was kind of the foot in the door to be like, what about this Comerica wall? What about this, which is wall number 3? That's how I was referring it to. So I think ultimately this is the one that I think helped get the ball rolling. And there's 4 different parties that have all been excited about making an improvement to the city. Even if I think I want to just make a presentation and not be hard selling, but to your question, I think about the opportunity cost of funding these murals. I think that the 2 years where the funds was sitting idly and then also not rolling over, I think is testament to the opportunity cost of funding these is very little, unless it takes somebody like myself to go make these things happen. And so, not that somebody else might not, but I think that that would be kind of the one sell I would make is like, if there are other walls that you think are better opportunities, I think there's no better way than to build momentum through murals and make more people want murals, so that when these funds are available again next time, we have more excited artists and more excited building owners and more excited commissions. So.
This is more of a general question, but I'm big on diversity, and you mentioned diversity. What does diversity mean to you, and how do you bring artist diversity into your group? So it's.
I think be delicate about my answer. I don't think we do it in a way where it's explicit. Unless obviously sometimes it calls for that. We're not in the business of saying like, we want a Black woman for this wall. We want obviously there are situations where that makes sense when you're doing anything that has Native anything or things like that. But I think my point was more about like, organically, that is what our network is. Organically, those are the artists that we work with. Organically, we are working with artists that traditionally are not looking like me. So I think if you want to get kind of specific demographics on this project, I think it's a pretty good split. You got a white dude, a Chinese dude, a white woman, and a Black woman. I think it's like and that's not something that we're intentionally saying, like, we want her for this because of that. It's just more about that's organically what the business that you're contributing towards is doing.
Thank you for that answer. I appreciate it. I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a general question also now that you've brought that up. So does this start first with Trent, you saying, look, there's this cool building and it's got some interesting walls. And then do you start the process of saying, hey, this wall number, we'll call this number 1, I'm going to call Steve Anderson because I know he can deal with pipes and blah, blah, blah pretty well. And and then you
like,
get
how are the artists
Steve's-
selected?
Do you select him and then you go to the owners, or do you like to the owners like, hey, I'm thinking about this wall 1, like, what do you guys want to see here? And then you go find the artist. I just say, I figure you know Walnut Creek pretty well. You would have seen this oak tree, so you would have known kind
So-
of what you're looking for as an artist underneath it.
What I've found works best is to give each kind of cook in the kitchen a decision that they're making or that they're heavily involved in. So typically what I'll do is I'll engage a building owner in this position and say, okay, what do you guys want? Okay, they want X, Y, Z. And then I'll say, you know, they'll lean on me as a curator. I will go and put together a proposal for that building owner of here's, let's say, 8 artists that we could work with for this. This one's great because they're local. This one's great because they can get around these edges. This one's great because they want to do it for less. This one's great because they have a big name, whatever it is. And then I like to have the building owner very heavily involved in who they're selecting, what style they like, because I find that that then allows for the artists to feel more like themselves. Like, so naturally I'm like, you guys pick the artist that you like their body of work. And then I think generally it works better that way. Then the artist isn't like trying to be somebody else. And then at that point I reach out to the artist and say, hey, I have relationships with a lot of these artists. This building owner is interested in creating a proposal. I'll get a design fee from the building owner to then engage that artist with the building owner. And then I do my best to step out of the middle and let them figure out where they want to land as far as design. And then we come here once they kind of get there. Did that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you think that the folks that are your collaborators, I'll say, your artists, like, do you think that you could possibly add like indigenous groups of artists that could be selected to provide a different spin on art versus don't want to say typical, but Asian, Black, or that is there's more than that, right?
For sure. I think well, yes, I would be very excited to. We have some collaborators that we've been intentionally building and doing things with who are specifically Ohlone or Miwok. We're doing a project actually right now, creating a monument to a burial ground in San Ramon, where we're collaborating with the tribe that land was desecrated, and then artists that are like directly tied to that land, and then pulling in a whole bunch of natural. Anyway, yes, we would love to do that. It was probably in a handful of these presentations to the building owner, and ultimately wasn't the route that they chose to go. But it would be something that I'd be very excited about bringing to Walnut Creek in the future, and we definitely have some collaborators who would fit the mold.
Sorry, I have another question. So let's say we decided as a commission not to approve Wall 1. Is the building owner and the tenants and you and the rest of the collaborators strong enough to say, you know what, we're doing this wall, we don't need the Arts Commission's permission, and we'll get the money together to put it in? Do you think that will happen with this wall?
It depends what you say to Wall 2. I think would be the
Okay.
would be the answer, because I think it's similar stakeholders
Right, sure.
on those two. So
Okay.
I can't speak to all of them, but yeah,
Okay.
Commissioner Dresser
maybe.
addressed the 2 questions I had, but raised another issue in the process, and that is, you presented this artist as doing native flora, and it is native. Everything's native to something. This just doesn't happen to be native to Walnut Creek. I'm just wondering whether there was any discussion when you're talking about this artist who specializes in native things at your level or at the committee level about the fact that this is not native.
Sean, do you want to weigh in on the back and forth with you and Steve and the flowers? We have Sean is the tenant of that building who is heavily involved in that process.
If you could come up to the mic,
For Wall
please,
1. Yeah.
and also introduce yourself at the mic.
My name is Sean Delfani. I'm a part owner of Zebra Tattoo and Body Piercing. We've been here since 2008. So your question was why those flowers for Wall 1, essentially?
Yeah, what was the nature of the discussion about that ended up with you presenting this as a native fauna or flora mural?
Right. Well, I mean, in terms of our brand, I mean, it's obviously we're named Zebra, and I know we don't own the building. We've been there since 2008, and we have a long lease established. And we wanted to go with something not straight, some sort of zebra wall or zebra print or very branded, but we wanted to kind of go in that direction of kind of that jungle theme. But you know, we're not 100% set on anything. We have an open mind. We want to get it done. So we're open to any and all feedback. So yeah, I know he's already spent some time on that, but I'm sure Trent, it's not your first rodeo. So if there's any other, feedback down the line, we're happy to hear it and make whatever adjustments.
Well, I'm happy to hear that, but I also want to say that you guys did a great job with my granddaughter last week, piercing her ears.
Nice. Happy to hear that. Happy to hear. Cool.
And yeah, Sean, I know you're a long time, I know your name from Los Alamos.
Yes.
Kids went there.
Yeah.
You guys are a long-time Walnut Creek family. I know you know what Walnut Creek native plants are. I know that your lobby is tropical plants, so I'm having to wonder if the artist kind of riffed on the tropical plants lining the walkway, and that's how this ended up tropical plants out here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna speak for Trent, but I think it was a word salad moment. When you said native plants, it was not native to Walnut Creek, it was tropical plants. So I think we're getting a little hung up on that. I just want to clarify, not native to Walnut Creek plants. Is there additional public comment?
So we should finish any questions on remaining walls and then open for public comment.
Thank you.
Should we move to the next one, or do you guys, okay.
Questions. We'll do questions, then public comment, then your statements.
Let's go to wall 2.
Wall 2, I've got a question. I was going to ask how the artists, why they collaborated, because I really like their art separately, but they're a married couple. Is this a pretty new thing for them that they're doing all the collaborations? I saw they did a huge collaboration for the Emeryville, the seawall project, which
Yep.
is fascinating. So when you approached them, was it in your intention to get both of them?
It was, so you spoke of the Emeryville project, so that's, the city of Emeryville is a client we're working with at the moment. They're doing a cultural district founding initiative, so we've been working with them and worked with Joey and Alex on that. And they got married like a little less than a year ago, and that was like one of their, in conversation with them, they were like, we want to start doing stuff like together more. So I presented them together and separately to the building owner, and this is the route that made sense. I think it seems like this design leans a little more Joey than Alex, I'll say, but I don't know exactly how their process works. So,
Okay, interesting.
but yeah, that's how I presented it, the two of them.
And can you go to the art that they've proposed, please? I wanted to know about the flora and fauna on here. They do native flora and fauna, and I'm understanding, I think that this is a mountain lion, which is native. And we got the snake, but could you tell me what snakes we have on here? And I see one of them's a 2-headed snake.
It's probably in my text somewhere. Joey
I
could
see a
tell you,
two-headed
Alex
snake.
could tell you if they were here. I feel like the conversation might go similarly to wall 1, where we're trying to walk the line between doing something that's like explicitly branded,
Okay.
and doing something that is like a direct ode to like Walnut Creek native.
Yeah.
I think that I don't know if I'm getting anyone in trouble. I think that there's in conversation also with you both, you had expressed a desire to not, they didn't say it like this, these are my words, but to just do a little less like cow on the hill, like basic, we've seen this before type of artwork, and push the envelope a little bit. So in me relaying that to the artists, this is where we landed.
And any idea what kind of flower this is?
I'd have to look it up.
Okay, yeah. I guess I assume we'd have the artist kind of on the phone or whatever zoomed in. We could ask them questions about the specifics of their murals.
I have a question about the breezeway. Are you doing the entire breezeway all the way to Main Street, or just that first half?
The whole thing, both sides.
So all the way to
Oh,
Elia?
no.
Well, to the stairs.
To stairs.
Yeah.
First half.
First half?
Yeah.
Okay.
Before, like, Silk Road.
Right.
We're not doing that side.
Okay.
So I think that's your arm. That's him standing on the stairs there. So it'd be everything from there down.
Down, okay.
And it's not, you're not gonna erase that piercing sign? I like that sign.
I mean, we are talking about doing.
If you could come to the mic, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, this space here, we are planning on doing some of the ceiling as well, just with, the whole mural being this, beautiful art on the walls, and we just really don't want this kind of plain, white, ugly ceiling. So there's some incredible skylights there that we were going to be, continuing the artwork up on the ceiling as well to make it a whole immersive experience.
Cool.
Do you have that artwork here? Or is this,
For
is it a continuous of the snakes, or did I miss it?
For the ceiling, we don't have any renderings yet, but it's
Do you have an idea what kind of art it's going to be?
not as of yet. We've only discussed the size of the walls, but it probably wouldn't be something like super intricate up on the ceiling, but at least something to kind of tie everything together.
And you're gonna keep the plants?
Plants, yes. So we've talked about, you see where the kind of the red part of the wall, the plants kind of go up to that level. So same kind of idea as the ceiling, as we want to have something more kind of simple on the lower half of that wall, because we do plan on keeping the plants in the alleyway, but then majority of the artwork being on the upper 2/3 of that wall.
Would the art extend all the way to the ceiling or just to the tops of the doors and the windows?
Top all the way to the ceiling.
To ceiling.
Yeah.
Anything else on wall 2? Questions? Let's look at wall, should we move on to wall 3?
The plants are blackberries. For all the ones that grow along the creeks, the snakes are garter snakes, and the birds are a crow. From Joey. Maybe that was a earlier iteration. Garter snakes, though, for sure.
Great. Do you want to take us to wall 3?
Sure. Wall 3.
Questions?
Questions?
How did you choose to collaborate with the other artist?
He is my business partner, and we do lots of things together. So it was an opportunity for us to do something that we felt like was cool. We had this idea of weaving these designs together, and this was like a unique opportunity we felt like to do that. Yeah.
And the other question is, just I guess to make sure ask, do you know that we're trying to only have representation from one piece of art and one artist at a time in the city, so we can spread the art around to different artists? And so this will be your second piece of art, although I know the Trinity Center art may be a little bit more temporary if that building gets torn down. So this would be your permanent piece. I just want you to know that you were aware of this, correct?
I had heard it alluded to.
Okay.
Yeah. I think speaking candidly to the commissioners, taking the initiative of this, like my option is like charge somebody or try to get paid as an artist. So, and then that kind of works for us to build this legwork. And so truthfully, this is the wall that doesn't have external funders. And so, yeah, truthfully that we're trying to make the program work. And like one of the ways that I can engineer it is where I can put myself in the artist budget, and then I don't need to charge additionally for the legwork. So that's part of why we're here. And yeah, I hope that you would see that as a, yeah.
Thank you.
Questions on wall 3? Let's look at wall 4. This is our Walnut Creek wall.
I have more questions. When we first saw the rendering for this wall, although it may have been a different wall, there was an awning that was gonna get put up. Is this wall, because there is a courtyard in front of this, going to have an awning put up?
I can't definitively say yes or no. I can say that they're looking to make improvements to that front area. There's a bit of a, I'll call it a parklet that is designed. They have renderings. In one of the renderings, there is an awning. That being said, the people that are contributing to this mural are excited about the mural, and I'm sure would make an informed decision about whether or not they put an awning, what type of awning they put. It's the same people who own the wall, who own 1372, who are also invested in making the mural happen. So I'm sure, I can't definitively say like this is what they will be constructing, but I know they'll be constructing with the mural intentionally.
Okay. And as I said earlier, tenants don't matter, but do we know what tenant might be going into this empty space? And there's a new coffee shop in the space across from it, but any
Yes.
idea who the tenant is might be going into this empty space that we see the windows of?
I don't believe so. This one is, Walnut Creek's a big little place. The person that owns the parking lot, sister owns this building. She was excited. They both are excited about contributing to this, and the new coffee shop is also excited because they're the ones who are going to be doing the parklet there. I don't know who the tenant of the actual building that is being painted on is prospected to be.
Okay.
Can you show the artwork?
Sure.
And then my question about the art is, do you know what the significance of Zoe's, I'm calling like smoke rings are? I've seen that in a couple of her other art. the yellow rings.
They're African patterns. I don't want to call them traditional African patterns. I don't know specifically, but I think it's directly tied to her culture and identity and just kind of her artistic expression. You see them, I think, often throughout her work.
Yeah.
Maybe not in these references, but
I think I read somewhere online it was about like futurism and kind of looking toward the future.
And what about those hieroglyphs on top?
I think that's all kind of in the same, we'll call it language, as the kind of like smoke ring patterns.
And is there any reason that you know of that she did not design the mural to cover the entire wall?
Yes, because they want to eventually paint the full building, and they felt like they wanted to be able to I think they wanted to be able to paint around it later if they were doing it, and they might be adding something to the top side of the wall, and they didn't want to have to remove it. They didn't want to cover up the mural.
Be great if they could paint before the mural goes up.
I agree.
And looking at this, just I'm trying to imagine that awning that we saw in one of the original pictures.
It's about the height of the
Bottom.
like the top of the black awnings in that rendering.
Oh yeah. Okay. Okay.
So you
Top
the arch you kind of like maybe lose the top of the arch kind of thing,
Okay.
but you wouldn't lose the vast majority of the mural.
Okay. Thank you.
So earlier you said you pick artists based on what you feel like their work is best fitting for the for the space. Why do you feel like this artist's work fits this area best? Because this is such a busy area. It is. My kids practically live there. There's all kinds of stuff. So how does this excite the area?
Yeah, I think they also, flowers are popular. I think that the style that the stakeholders could agree on as we were going through things, they wanted like something that was bright color. One person wanted something that was more of the, how do I, almost like the faux window, like you look through the window and see the vineyard kind of thing. And then another kind of stakeholder was imagining something that was a bit, had a bit more oomph to it. And so then as I was going through artists that I felt like could walk that line, Zoe's work spoke to that group, and they decided to move forward with her.
Thank you.
Additional questions on wall 4?
I feel for you.
It's okay. It's fun. I like what I do.
Okay, do we have any additional public comment? Great. Should we move into commissioner statements?
Please, somebody else.
I really like wall 4. It's really pretty. I think it's my favorite. Especially the poppies. I think it's like exactly a scene from Walnut Creek. I think it really adds to that area of the city.
Thank you.
Well, I'm of two minds here. I really like 2, 3, and 4, and I like 1. I think it has high impact, but I am troubled by whether that impact's going to exist with with all those trucks and cars parked in front of it. And I really appreciate your willingness to kind of come to terms, but I guess my question is, is there an opportunity here to not spend the full amount and save some for later, or is that even important? Because these opportunities take a long time to develop, and I'm not personally concerned that we're gonna miss an opportunity if we spend the money now, but I'm definitely comfortable with 2, 3, and 4, and I'll see what the overall feeling is on wall 1.
Commissioner Tesfaye, did you want to go next?
I just want to say I'm especially excited about the Zebra Breezeway project. I would love to see what the ceiling would look like because I'm an artist and it's just my nature. But I am excited for the opportunity. I am concerned in case, I feel like July is far for other opportunities, but we can't wait for what potentially, people are going to do. So I am excited to get something going. So thank you for being here, and I'm just excited, that's all.
Thank you.
Okay. I wrote an email, and I'm going to put it on the record. I think it's appropriate. I wrote these things down because I had the chance to be part of the public art panel committee, and we discussed this, and I had a lot of time to think through. So I want to vote for all of them. The person who I thought I was going to go 3, and then I decided this is a time that we must seize the opportunity. I've been a proponent of our program. I was really happy when we came up with the partnership, the private and public program. We put it together. It took a long time to get there, and then I thought it was 3 years, but I guess 2 years of really nothing happening. So I am very appreciative of all of your effort to get to this point, and I'm super happy about it. For all practical purposes, this is the only program, the first offering since this program's inception. So I think we need to recognize this opportunity when it arrives. The ABG Art Group has invested significant effort into submitting a comprehensive professional application with 4 fully rendered concepts by established artists. Rejecting most of it risks discouraging future applicants and underutilizing the $30,000 fund, which could lapse or be reallocated away from murals. Our goal is not only to fund perfect murals, but to catalyze a culture of public art participation. Approving one wall while rejecting others may signal that the bar is so high as to be unattainable, especially for private owners who are volunteering their walls at no cost to the city. So for wall 1, we've heard that parked cars may partially obscure the base. The upper two-thirds remain visible to pedestrians and southbound traffic on Broadway. So this isn't a compromise, it's contextual intelligence. It reflects how public art functions best, not in isolation, but in conversation with its surroundings. I approve the mural at that location, but its thematic focus on lush tropical Hawaiian flora feels culturally and ecologically disconnected from Walnut Creek's local identity, which we discussed, especially given the proximity to the heritage oak. A native, this is just a suggestion, a native and symbolically significant tree that is the valley oak should be, you know, this is not decorative art, but it should be something that doesn't completely clash with that. Yeah, I feel it's important to say that it's not about limiting your artistic expression, right? Just said, and it's just for contextual relevance. And so that's what I have to say about one. For wall number 2, it's a lot shorter. I don't feel that the murals that are, or the rendition that's being proposed overwhelms anything, that they complement the existing tropical decor that's there. I don't think that they're loud graphics, but subtle organic patterns that extend through the ambiance there. And in fact, such enclosed spaces benefit from artistic treatment. I think of the alleyway murals in Denver and Seattle, where confined areas become immersive experiences. Proper lighting and maintenance will then ensure the openness of that. And then I'll move on to 3. Number 3, I think it's a super sound choice because of its visibility. Even if it were less visible, I think mural programs thrive when they create district-level transformation, not isolated highlights. In cities like Philadelphia, Santa Fe, they prioritize clusters of murals that turn neighborhoods into destinations. And I think that's really important for our town, to create this buzz about Walnut Creek where it excites people to come here, and it's best for our commercial businesses. And for living purposes, you know, for those of us who reside here, it'd be much more exciting. And then for wall number 4, this dialogue between art and permanent structure, to me, it isn't a flaw, it's an opportunity. And it just makes everything much more exciting. The rendering shows the full composition pre-awning, if there's an awning in the future. And I feel that public art is not meant to exist as a pristine, controlled gallery environment, and so forth and so on. I've seen this done in cities, all the big cities, Chicago, LA. And the most beloved murals are partially covered by fire escapes, signage, scaffolding, or awnings, and they're really cool to look at, and I appreciate it. So I would like to thank you again, and I would like to express my full approval to move on with this.
Thank you.
So we'll make a motion later, right?
Please, yeah.
Thank you.
Trent, your package was amazing. I want a Heather Day mural here. First, I thought you were proposing a Heather Day mural and how you showed some of the slides, but nope.
We need another $60,000 probably,
Yeah,
but
I know she's gotten really expensive.
you let me know and we'll make it happen.
Yeah. Okay, so wall number 1, we've talked about it. I feel that it's the least good wall because of how obscure the mural can be, and I think the the theme doesn't fit with the heritage oak, and the heritage oak takes up a prominent position at the sidewalk with Joe Bologna's art around bench and art on it. And the tropical plant leaves just don't fit, so I'm a no on putting city money towards wall 1. Wall 2, I feel like it's a really crowded breezeway with the plants and the tables and all the windows and the skylights. And well, I'm not up for putting city money up for it. I think if Zebra and your other collaborators want to do it, that'd be fine. I just don't want to allocate city money for that. Because I feel like it's just too crowded. I think it's going to be claustrophobic. I'd like to be proven wrong on that. Wall 3, the most perfect wall, one of the most perfect walls in the city you could put a mural on. No parking in front of it, kind of unobstructed by everything. You can see it really well, both walking and driving southbound on Broadway. And it's perfect wall. And I like your combination with your partner. Almost looks like broken pottery put together. And I do not want you to turn the saturation down on that wall. I want you to keep that saturation of color up. This mural that you guys have proposed is what we want. Unusual, impactful, different, bright, stands out. This is what I want to see more of in murals in Walnut Creek. So good job on that one. Wall 4, I originally I think voted no on, I think because first we thought it was a different wall, and then I was a little bit undone by the potential awning. But this is a very high visibility wall, especially for pedestrians. And it's a wall that would, I think, do well to have a mural on it. That said, I really like the mural to go to the top of the building if possible. And here's where I think I feel for you the most is in having to do a collaboration with building owners and tenants. It's almost dumbed down what the final product is. And I think if you could have just gone an artist and said, hey, I got a wall for you, do your thing here, it would have been a better product. And I think I had a hard time finding other work by Zoe, but if you would please put up one of the Zoe murals that she did as an example. Can you get back to it?
Restart the presentation. Was it the one with the
It's the one with the poppies that
fabric?
are big and the hummingbird and the butterfly.
Sure.
That's what I want to see on this floor. I don't want to see this Trump Lloyd window with a bow on it. It looks too
This one on the
contrived
left?
to me. No. Go
This
that one.
Okay.
Like, yeah, like I want the whole wall there, maybe not palm trees, maybe an oak tree. But that's like, oh, wow, I stop in my tracks and look at that. But it just sounds like all these collaborators that had to agree to give their dollars to do this brings the product that you get less good than what the artist may have wanted to deliver and you may have asked for if you could have just said, hey, artist, I got you and I want this wall. So that's my feeling. I want big, I want the whole wall there, I want it bright, I want all her images to be bigger. Yeah.
I think I don't know if I'm good to
No.
respond.
Sure.
Yes. Okay. I think well, one, to your point about loving this one, I think this is very much stylistically in Zoe's body of work. This is the one that this will end up the most similar to. There's no way around the fact that like the actual magic of making the design happens on the wall. And so, you know, some artists are incredible painters. Some artists are incredible at rendering what their paintings will look like. Zoe probably leans more in the first basket. So I would just say I would be really confident about what she puts up on the wall is going to be incredible. I've never seen her do something that I felt like she mailed in or dumbed down.
Is there a chance it can be cover the whole wall, or is that out? Like, is that, you know that for a fact that it's only going to be this high?
I want to be working on behalf of everybody, but if you said we will fund it contingent on it going higher, I'm sure we can make it go higher. I think that if I go back to building owners with some stipulations, they can say yes or no, right? So I think I don't see why that wouldn't work.
But if you go higher and it's larger, you need more funding because that require her to do more time,
Right.
correct?
There's
the
a
money
couple.
would change.
There's a couple different ways we could look at it. One, we could talk about having the background of the painting go higher. That doesn't take so much rendering happening. The other, yes or no. It depends how much you guys do. You know, I think if we have a decent budget, I can call her and be like, she's a gamer. She'll want to do it. So if it calls for a little bit higher, we can go a little bit higher. Yeah. But also certainly if you want to justify a higher cost, I think all of these are like within, if typically if it's a well-paying client and they ask us how much a mural goes, we're always basing things based on square footage. It's real estate. You buy more, you save more, you do bigger walls, the square footage price goes down depending on the level of detail and things like that. So certainly these all could justify much higher budgets, but I think we want to make them happen.
I believe artists should get paid for their work, so that's where I
Appreciate it.
stand.
Okay, I'll make my final statement and then we'll move on. I just want to say, Trent, the only murals I've seen in Walnut Creek are yours with Trinity and this. So thank you for finding the opening and helping with capacity that the city doesn't have to scout these relationships. I think the legwork you keep talking about is the work of a creative director and a curator and a producer. And unfortunately, we don't have that on staff here. So it's really what we need. Overall, I just want to underscore the area of Zebra. Thank you for attending tonight. It's been here for multiple decades. It is a hangout spot for youth. It is a place where young people congregate to either get pierced, to talk about getting tattoos, to hang out in the hallways, to get their nails done, to go to their 12th birthday party, to get the second ear pierce. It is a place where young people connect in our city, which we have very few places like that for them, outside of consumerism and very expensive shopping. That said, I also really like that it is small business that we can support, that you are taking an initiative to beautify the space. I hear the oak question. I do think it's a subtle and nice way to do branding around zebra without it being zebra print. So I'm less hung up on Walnut Creek fauna for this particular piece, but I do hear all of our other commissioners' feedback. I think what's really important about this mural project is that we have a moment where people can walk through something or see the top portion in their drive home, and there is that subtle shift in consciousness that we want kind of artists to wake up inside of folks as they're commuting through our city, walking through our city, meeting for coffee. I'm really great with walls being obstructed, even though they're painted on. It's just a part of public art. And I think we could all name 5 better walls that are taller, higher, and more visible, but those people are not coming to us and they are not applying to this grant program. So I'm in favor of funding all of these walls tonight and really upping the budget for this program because these are under market value. We just did a Wilshire corridor, the work that I do, and this is a very small budget in a city with the socioeconomics that Walnut Creek has. Thank you.
So we are looking for a motion and a second. There are some recommended language in your agenda packet, and I think given the depth of conversation, you might want to do each motion if there is a nomination for a motion, one at a time.
We're at the bottom of page 3, right? Yeah.
Yes, the commission action recommended section, bottom of page 3.
Yep.
Someone who is a commissioner would need to make a motion.
I can make a motion. I make a motion to move to approve the recommended site location, the artist, design, concept direction, and funding request for proposed 4 walls, 1, 2A, 2B. You want them separately?
You can make the motion as you wish, and we'll see if you receive enough support for it to pass.
Yeah. Request for proposals for Wall 1. I'll rephrase it. Move to approve recommended site location, artist design and concept, design concept direction and funding request for the following walls: Wall 1, Wall 2A, 2B, Wall 3, and Wall 4.
I second the motion.
We'll call the roll. Commissioner Perelman,
Aye.
Commissioner Dresser,
No.
Commissioner Klauber,
Aye.
Commissioner Tesfaye,
Aye.
Vice Chair Magnani,
Aye.
and Chair Baltazar.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
I'm all set. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Ready for the next item or take a break? Whatever your preference.
Do we need, all right.
Okay, we'll take a quick 5-minute break and be back at, what would that be, 7:33?
Great. I'm on here, right? Yeah. Yep.
Okay, commissioners. In our enthusiasm to make the previous motion, we exceeded our authorized budget for the mural grant program. So we are going to revisit with a new motion and looking for a commissioner to make a motion.
Thank you. I was hoping we award higher value for my murals. All right. I move to approve recommended site location, artist, design concept, direction, and funding of a total of $30,000 for the proposed Wall 1, Wall 2A, Wall 2B, Wall 3, and Wall 4.
I second.
And we'll do roll call. Commissioner Perelman,
Aye.
Commissioner Dresser,
No.
Commissioner Klauber,
Aye.
Commissioner Tesfaye,
Aye.
Vice Chair Magnani,
Aye.
and Chair Baltazar.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you. Now you really get to go home. Okay. Run. Next on the agenda is an item for commission consideration, item 4B, consideration of next steps for Heather Farm Park Aquatic and Community Center Public Art Project following artist changes. At this time, I invite staff to provide the presentation.
Thank you. All right, so second item on the agenda is update on Heather Farm Park Public Art Project. As a refresh, in November 2023, City Council approved a $953,500 public art budget for the new Aquatic and Community Center at Heather Farm Park. This budget includes the required 1% of construction costs, which comes to $538,500. They also approved an additional $415,000 from the Public Art Fund to be spent to make it a bigger budget. At its January 2025 meeting, Arts Commission approved 3 public art concepts and artist teams for the project. Currently, one of the projects will be moving forward. That is Hoda Souza. And staff is now seeking the commission's input on how to allocate the remaining $716,000 in budgeted public art funds allocated for this project at Heather Farm. So the recommended action is to return to the top semifinalists to invite them to submit a new concept proposal for the remaining budget of $716,000. So we can go over as a reminder. This is the space that we are discussing. The project that is moving forward is titled Poppy by Hoda Souza. These are the renderings. This is one of the projects that will not be moving forward by Alexandra Proba. And this is the other project that will no longer be moving forward. It was the mural on the side of the building by Stephen Galloway. To which one? Oh, I wasn't quite there yet in my, yeah, got a little ahead of myself. So yes, so we've been thrown a loop. So up tonight for discussion basically is how to proceed.
And so you'll see in your agenda report, our focus tonight is on artists in the RFP process to submit new concepts. Tonight is not for discussion about site locations. Any discussion on that will return to the commission and be an agendized item. So no commentary, please, tonight on site locations, focusing on next steps for artist selection and concepts. We'll start with commissioner questions.
Do we have any indication that those artists are still interested?
No, we would have to go back to them and see.
And then what happens if they aren't?
It would be standard industry practice to go then to the top 10 candidates that we interviewed initially and invite the 5 remaining ones that were not invited initially to submit proposals. So if you'll recall, there were 10 finalists or semifinalists, and we invited 5 to submit formal proposals. 5 we did not.
And why would we be inviting How D'Souza to submit again, since we've already accepted one of their pieces?
To be equitable and fair, they would still be an eligible contender in that they had initially submitted proposals for the full budget and partial budget, and then it was up to the artist selection panel's discretion to recommend to the commission, and the commission voted to only go forward with one of their proposals. I can't predict whether they would actually want to submit another project for this or not, but they're not disqualified.
So it sounds like what you're saying, the next steps are that you are going to reach out to those 3 semifinalists and see if they're interested in submitting a proposal for the remaining 700,000+. Am I correct?
Correct.
And if they do say yes and you get proposals, will the 2 of you be the ones looking at their proposals to present for us, or will it go back to the artist selection committee?
It'll go back to the artist selection panel, provided all of those people are still available and would like to participate in the artist selection panel. At the time that we assembled the panel, there were alternates also indicated and approved. So if the original artist selection panel members are not available or do not wish to participate, we would try to assemble a new panel based on the other people that were approved.
And as far as spending that money for the first round, 2 of those that are no longer interested divided up that 700,000. Are we going to specify in any way that those submissions that come in spend they do one piece or whatever, one piece that spends the whole amount, so we're not breaking it up into smaller amounts like we did the first time? We didn't break it up, but the 900,000 basically got split up in 3. I mean, I used to see the 700,000 go to one artist to do one bigger piece.
Staff would recommend that it would be one artist or artist team for the entire budget, however they choose to. It's possible they have one main piece and then a couple smaller pieces, but yes.
Okay, thank you.
And on the location thing, I understand that that's not in order for tonight, but at what point do we or anyone else get to weigh in on location? Because I know some of us have some opinions about that.
I think that definitely since the initial call for artists came out, there have been some changes in the landscaping and the signage, and we've heard people express opinions. So we would probably be bringing that to January. Is that correct? To the January meeting?
Prior to requesting proposals.
Correct. So that we could have the artists make informed decisions.
Is it possible to also have Public Works and/or anyone involved in the city who has jurisdiction over Heather Farms to take a look at any locations before those locations are proposed, so we know that if a location is proposed, it's actually feasible from all sorts of different directions?
Yes, we could certainly take it back to them.
I thought that was already done.
It has been done, but I think that based on the new locations, we could definitely take it back again.
What about going back to the artists that applied, like a much larger pool of artists? What would that look like?
More, yeah, more work. So it would be, I think that given we've already spent so much time and we had these top contenders and we did take the time to interview them, it would be, number one, the right thing to do to invite the artists that have already taken the time and submitted and spent time interviewing and showed strong interest. If we arrive at a place where we realize that all of the 7 parties who, it would be the 10, or sorry, right, minus the other people that are not participating, so 8. If none of them expressed any interest, then we would have to open it up again. We would have to consult with an artist selection panel and go back to everybody. But at this point, it's been so long since so many of those people applied. I think that we would probably have to do a whole new RFQ.
So what I think I'm hearing you say, Mariah, is you're now talking about 8 possible artists being invited to submit, not just 3.
First, I think we need to
Go to 3?
go to the 3.
Okay.
Right.
What's the budget for the artists to resubmit to the 715K? Because they were previously invited with stipends, right? And it was
Correct. It was $5,000 each. So if we invite, let's say we invite 3 back and 3 are very interested, we would have to compensate them $5,000 each for submitting a new proposal.
What if they submitted the same proposal?
We will tell them that is not permitted. It has to be a new concept.
Okay.
And in hindsight, it's always, what are the learnings from this? Because we're spending a lot of time and money. So could we do something different so that we don't have, contracts that can't be signed? Or I understand personal situations, something happens, but other than that, what have we learned?
Well, I think every opportunity presents learning moments, and it's tricky with public art because every project will be different. We have definitely taken notes on maybe we need to be more explicit in certain things and others, but like you said, sometimes things arise that are unpredictable, the unknowns. Yeah. I don't know if you have anything you want to add to that. Yeah.
I think one of the major things that we've learned is that when we have a large budget like this, lots of times it's behooves ourselves as public art professionals and also the Arts Commission to look at that budget holistically and to make sure that really if that budget were to be split into 2, 3, 4, however many projects, that it does make financial sense, and that maybe on these smaller project budgets that the amount needs to remain intact so that we can kind of get proposals and concepts that really fulfill a $1 million project so that it feels very impactful and successful in that way.
Can I drill down just a little bit on that? I mean, the Stephen Galloway thing is perfectly understandable. Things happen. But the Provo one, can we pull back the veil a little bit? It seems like 6 months of negotiations is a lot, considering how closely we drew the parameters in the first place. What were you guys talking about for 6 months? And I'd also like to know, if you're willing to share, who pulled the plug, us or them?
So the artist arrived at saying she could not do this project for the amount that we had initially discussed. I think that she has not realized any municipal projects before. So when we've asked her to show records of how much materials and fabrication would cost. She, I don't know how to say. I asked her, I said, as a government agency, we really need to be able to justify our costs. So we need to be super transparent with the public. But this is being paid for with taxpayer dollars. And it doesn't seem that has been asked of her before. So she was quite shocked. And I think that it created a tension in the relationship. And I think she perceived that as mistrust on our part, rather than that's just how municipal projects work. I think that having the work fabricated abroad may have been a stressor. I'm not sure. But she did ask for a deposit of 75%, which in industry practice is that's really unheard of. So it just got to a point where after so many negotiations and back and forth that it felt like, we just had arrived at an impasse.
My sympathies. That's not a pretty picture. But appreciate all the work.
Yeah.
And also, I think with the cost of things and the tariffs on foreign goods and foreign-made goods, I think that would that make us select artists based on where they produce their art. And because I remember that she was talking about how she had a relationship with the manufacturer, and she wanted to keep that, which I understood. But going forward, do we want to do that again? I mean, in light of everything happening in the world with,
I think we can't state a preference on where we want the artist's work to be made, and we're trying to be inclusive by opening up these calls to anyone, and many artists have their fabricators. It's hard to predict that the tariffs were going to go up, and that people were going to be impacted this way. So it was just kind of this recipe that led to those considerations. So that is why we're really adamant on keeping that contingency in the budget to allow for the unknowns and setting aside the funding so that in case costs do go up. Does that answer your question?
It does, but in terms of our budget is not going to go up. In fact, we're, eating through the budget because of this. So now we're going to be negotiating again with artists. And if they're going to be bringing goods from wherever their fabricator is, we know that's going to be a hurdle. So wouldn't we be better off with artists who are able to have their art fabricated in the USA?
I think to be clear, the artist did not state that the tariffs were specifically the reason why they could not proceed with the project. It was their understanding of budget and contingency that did not align with our understanding, and then they stated they could not move forward with the budget that had been approved.
Additional questions before we move to public comment? Is there any public comment?
Yeah, on these artists, the three, other than, I know that they arrived at the table and they became part of 10, and then it was whittled down to 5 semifinalists. But can you explain who decided that they were going to be part of the 10 that started, or the 20? Because we had a list that I think was at least 50 or 80 people on there.
The artist selection panel had the opportunity to look through, and I'm trying to recall now.
I've got a few numbers from.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay, that would be helpful. Thank you.
So in round one, I believe we had 161 total applicants to the process. The first time the artist selection group came together, 77% of that pool had been disqualified. So we looked at 36 artists. From those 36, it went down to 10 and then went down to 5, and we used a rubric voting system across everyone. I mean, there's a lot of lessons learned that I'm at an impasse with in terms of what we need to decide here today. Because of the breaking up of spaces, because of the site selection, right? And also a lot of people's, I think the way in which the RFP was written, we got a lot of corporate structural things that were not, in my opinion, not maybe the whole group, like public art, right? Fringe on the building, things like this. That said, I think going back to just these 3 of the top 5 feels really small. Knowing what we know about the sites, and so how do we work within an RFP process that has been closed? I hear the sentiment of like we have a candidate pool to go back to. But knowing what we know, is there some sort of revision around how we actually want to play with these sites? You know, I think the tension that the artist group kept seeing was like, give the artist free will to do the da-da-da and then the full budget, because you might get a better end product. But what we found was like, actually, if we had a curator that was involved with this process and had like a community lead on vision that worked across city parks and works and arts and rec, maybe we would be like not 16 spaces, 3 spaces, and we actually don't want to work with more than 2 artists, and we want to funnel our money this way, right? So I think because we had so many different decisions on the scale of this project, here we are, right? And we thought it would be a better way to move forward with diversity of artwork and collection by having 3 different players and breaking up $1 million. But even in our top 10, we had someone drop out that was sick, that is still battling with illness. So of that group of 10, I don't even know if they would even be able to come back around. And just thinking about the budget, if we go beyond the 3, do we have to offer 5? Could we say, hey, we know this is crazy in a long shot, we don't have 5, we open the pool up to 7 or 8 of the top 10, and it's a smaller budget to be able to accommodate more people in potentially resubmitting?
For consistency in process, we should offer an equal amount to what was previously offered for the same work.
Okay. So it's $15K for 3 people to participate. And then of the top 10, we would take out Matthew and Alexandra.
We would, not Matthew, Stephen Galloway.
Oh, sorry, Stephen. Stephen, so then there's only in the top 10.
So
8.
I can
Can
go.
I count?
I can show you the slide. These are the top. So they're separated, their groups. So the first top 5 were the ones that were invited to submit proposals. And the grouping on the bottom, they were in the top 5 or top 10 that were not invited to move to the next step. But all 10 were interviewed.
Is there any way to get it so you and Emily can also have some sort of weigh-in on the art before it comes to us? And Eric, whoever is.
That's why we have a selection panel, because staff is here to carry out the wishes of the Arts Commission. And we are in the room, of course, with the selection panel and provide, logistical information and structural and procedural information, but we do not vote on whether or not we would like an artist to move forward. And that's to keep the process fair and to make sure that our public art program isn't the Mariah and Emily show. It's actually, a group of community members who are coming together and making these decisions collectively so that we have a very robust and diverse public art program, and that lots of different artists and different voices are being heard and shared in our community.
For the sake of clarity, Sarah, if you could just call clearly for public comment, and then we can close that and move to
Oh, I
commissioner
thought we had
comments.
moved, sorry
We've
about
kind
that.
We
Yep.
kind of
Okay.
left past it a little bit.
Is there any public comment? There's no public comment.
No public comment.
Should we move to commissioner statements? Remind you, you have 2 minutes to comment, please.
Well, I'm not hugely optimistic about it. I think you've got the right process. An alternative would cost more, but worse than that, it would take a lot more time. And I think everybody in the community is anxious to move this project forward. So I think that's good. That said, I'm not optimistic about the results because, as you recall, I wasn't 100% crazy about the 3 that came to the commission. And so I asked you if we could see the other 2, and you were kind enough to share them with us. And when I saw the other 2, my conclusion was that the committee had made the right choice. So I don't know. I don't know how, I don't know what we're going to end up with, but personally I'm not optimistic. But I think it's the right thing to do.
I am against this because it feels like we're not fully with a choice. It's the choice that we didn't choose, and now we have our hands tied. I also, as the world has progressed and things have happened, I think that we should do a whole lot more vetting of the type of art and artists and back to the diverse background kind of thing. I think Walnut Creek deserves more than just established artists who tend to be privileged, and I feel like we're not going to get a fair shake out of this. Fairness doesn't mean equitable. And so I don't see that going down. The ones that are left is what Walnut Creek deserves. So I would vote for us to start this over and do it properly. I think that we're going to spend more money, more of our the amount that we have trying to go for this next step and then be back here. And I'm really unhappy with the choices of the artists that we are having to select now, which is not right. We didn't select them for a reason.
For me, I trust the process and the community of people that it takes to make these decisions. So I respectfully appreciate not having to start over and moving forward the way that you have been working on this. That being said, I do wish to I understand how DOSA team is going forward, and we are happy with them. And just because they can doesn't mean I feel like they should get another opportunity for this project, especially because it costs money to get these ideas coming forward to us. So with that being said, I do wish that we would look into the other artists that maybe below, and perhaps give them another chance, and see what that looks like, just because this other group already is allocated, and we love their work, and I think there's no doubt they will probably give us another thing that they seem to understand what is expected. But I think it's such a huge opportunity, and diversity does matter. So I would love to see that going to someone else, that opportunity, and see why not give them a chance. And that's sort of my 2 cents about that.
I agree with all of that. I think that it's a good idea to start like with these 3 and then the 10 artists, because we already have these names, and then if something doesn't work out, we can always start the whole thing over again. But if we already have these, why not?
Yeah, I think we kind of have no choice but to go back to some of these, this 10, whatever you've got at the 10 that might submit again. But I'd like there to be such clarity in the message that goes out to them of what we're looking for. So I guess that's my thing. I'd like there to be clarity in what they're asked to do and give us, and for how much to charge. And good luck.
I have a question based on what Commissioner Baltazar said. Is there a chance for the city to hire a curator and spend some of the money on that, and then create the specs for these artists based on this versus just what we've had done before? Like, can we use that as a learning?
Do you want to answer that?
No, it's just not for this project.
So if we were to hire a consultant, that's the correct term, it would have to come out of the budget, which would drastically reduce the budget of the funds that would go to an artist. If you wanted to increase the budget, decrease the budget, any of that, all of that has to go to the city council. You would recommend the change in budget to city council. It would go to city council for approval or not. So any consultants hired, either it would be an additional budget that would have to go to council, or it would come out of the $716,000 that's been allocated to this project.
And then there would be a process for hiring the
Absolutely.
consultant and decide what type and accept all of that, right?
Yes.
And no pointing fingers, but why was that not done to begin with?
Budget is a big consideration for whether or not a consultant is hired. Also, this is a municipal project versus a private project. So private projects that have, $1 million plus budgets generally have a consultant that they hire. And, it's up to them where that funding comes from, but it generally comes from outside of the public requirement. Municipal projects are different in that, of course, the money is coming from the city.
Thank you.
Let's see. I have a few comments. Of the $716,000 budget that's left, I don't feel great about it, but I actually do think we should offer it to the 8. And that means we'd have to spend $40K, up to $40K, leaving the budget at more like $676 to propose artwork for. I don't think I can in good conscience just be down with Hoda Souza, Matthew, and the other artist. I think there was a lot that we learned and a lot of time already spent in this process, that are, it just does not, again, going back to the fair and equitable, doesn't feel like an equitable group looking just at the top 5.
Well, there's a Hobson's choice for you. We either take all that money, 40 grand out of our budget for art, or we go with the top 5, or which is now top, 3? I think I agree with you.
Attempt at a motion.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I can try. Let's see. I move to return to the top 8 of the top 10 semifinalists from the RFP selection process to invite them to submit a concept for a new project for consideration using $40K of the budget of $716K to finalize this next round and move forward with $676K of artist budget for the Heather Farms Park Aquatic.
Would you entertain taking Who D'Souza out, just to leave a little more money in?
That's a great question. It hits me as like this question of like, is it fair? Is it unfair? I don't know.
I think as a reminder, the artists would need to say they are interested before we would offer a $5,000 stipend towards the concept. So it's possible that not all of the ones you wish to move forward with would even choose to submit. And then there is still a process, right, with the artist selection panel, reviewing concepts, recommending concepts to the commission. So there's many levels here still in process. So we do have a motion on the table.
I'll second it.
Okay. Hold on. Motion and second. Okay, roll call. Commissioner Perelman.
Aye.
Commissioner Dresser.
Aye.
Commissioner Klauber.
No.
Commissioner Tesfaye.
Aye.
Vice Chair Magnani.
Aye.
And Chair Baltazar.
Aye.
Motion passes.
All right, thank you all very much for your consideration and your discussion. We appreciate it.
At this time, I invite staff to provide presentations, reports on projects. Hey there, again.
Hello. All right. Okay, so this is brief. Just some updates on things that have happened since the last time we met. So public art walking tours have really seen an increase in attendance, which is fantastic. It could be attributed to some of the marketing efforts that have taken place, but it's been great to see more people. We have a dog-friendly public art walking tour coming up. It's actually all sold out. Paws on Pot. We call it like pot. So there's the cute little dogs. So we shall see how that goes. And just this fiscal year, so that would be July of this year, we changed the structure we moved to a pay what you can model to kind of copy what the gallery is doing. And with that, it's been really interesting to see And a lot of people have been super generous and paid even more. And we also moved to an online pre-ticket sale formula. You're also welcome to buy tickets day of still as previously, but we shall see next year at the report next year what the final numbers are. But so far, it's been really great. And these are just some of the tours recently that we've had. So many people on the tours, in fact, that we definitely have had a need for 2 docents and splitting it up, as Jill will attest to. Also, finally, if you'll recall, last year we had a call put out. We collaborated, so the city collaborated with Public Works and Walnut Creek Downtown and Recycle Smart to realize this project of the Big Belly refresh of these cans. Here we have an artist posing with his work. And then our own Carrie Lederer had her artwork selected. So that's right across the street. This is right near here. So there have been 10 that have been done downtown so far, and they're planning to do more. So this has been nice to see downtown a refresh of these bins. And there are 2 sets that also have a compost component to it. So they're like triple bins. Yeah. Here. Yeah, they came out really, really nice. We have a new postcard. So, and it sounds like luckily it's an evergreen postcard. We just changed the wording a little bit to reflect the different, rather than having the words matching, it's now just the mural grant. And coming up next, we have this piece at Heather Farm Park. Speaking of Heather Farm Park, this is a work that was acquired to commemorate the City of Walnut Creek's 75th anniversary. So that was, I have the year, I think it was 1989, or it was 1989. I was just checking to see if that was, yeah, so it was in 1989. This is a work by Bruce Johnson, and it's titled Strata, and it's definitely in need of some maintenance and care. So we have that set up with previously approved funds for maintenance of artwork in our permanent collection. That'll be taking place this month. And that is it. Does anybody have any questions?
Will Bruce Johnson stay in this location?
For now, we have no plans to move it. That might be something we consider down the line.
And is Bruce Johnson, looks like wood below, is it bronze above?
So it's copper.
Or copper?
It's copper and wood.
Okay, cool. Oh, very cool. And the Big Belly refresh, just to be clear, 10 were we done?
10 were done already, and then there are plans to do an additional 10. I think they're just going to try to keep rolling them out in groups of 10.
Thank you.
Walnut Creek Downtown is heading that project.
Okay.
So an observation and a question. I see in your report that we got $83,000 plus out of Pinstripes. Congratulations.
Thank you.
The year they spent here was very remunerative to
I know.
our mission.
Yes, rest in
Yeah.
peace, Pinstripes.
They're gone, yeah. And then you say in the report somewhere, it says staff is preparing to implement a new public art walking tour app platform with the intention of updating the self-guided public art tours. Can you say a little more about that?
Sure. Currently, we have a walking tour that's set up through a program that is maybe a little antiquated. It's a dial-in, so you call to dial up. Our analytics are showing that we don't think a lot of people are taking the time to dial up, and this new platform that we're looking at would put eyes on us all over the world, and it's a free program. It's just a matter of having staff time to get together and join a cohort for training and implementing it. But it's a platform that the gallery can utilize it, which would be great to have all of our exhibits online so that people all over the world can see our shows, and also the public art. So that's a goal for this coming year. Any other questions, comments?
Waterlight Plaza, is it working yet?
No.
No. So I've been in contact with the building manager, and apparently the nozzles that the artist had initially put into that work are no longer made. And so they are having to have them handmade overseas. They're very specialized nozzles, and it's taking a very long time. And once they're in, he has assured us that they do have a life expectancy of 7 years. But yes.
We've also noticed that there appears to be like bullet holes in some of the tiles. And I think we have a treasure trove of extra tiles from our artist. Can we get some of the tiles repaired as well, the ones that are broken?
We can contact the building owner. That would be under their purview.
Great, thank you.
Okay. No further questions? And with the chair's approval, I'll roll together my strategic plan and other Lesher Center rep updates all in one. So I have come to you before to share our new ticketing system, Spectrix, which we implemented in March, which has been very exciting. That was one of the initial top priorities from our strategic plan, but government procurement processes are long. And so we are still in the process of fully integrating Diablo Regional Arts Association into that system so that we have a full picture of our patrons and our donors. We did successfully move Center Rep into launching world premieres, as well as developing new co-production partnerships. We expanded the Lesher Center in Your Neighborhood program and continued to further the commitment at the gallery of sharing artists who have diverse backgrounds. And we increased our Pay What You Can offerings, which started with Center Rep preview performances. Then, more than a year ago, we moved the Bedford Gallery to that model. And now the Headliners series this past season also had Pay What You Can options. And as we go into our next year, I shall share with you a copy of our season brochure that's inclusive of all of our internal programming, so Headliners, the gallery exhibitions, and Center Rep productions, as well as our cornerstone producers who are our professional nonprofit organizations that present seasons at the center. We just this past weekend completed our Diwali celebration, first ever, which was a combination of Hari Kondabolu as the headlining comedian, followed by a drone light show above the Lesher Center, which was thrilling, and then a street fair with local artists and organizations from 12 to 4 on Saturday. And the fair was really packed. I know the gallery was overwhelmed with interest in the workshop, which was great. So we had a lot of synergy between what was going on indoors and out, and we're looking forward to planning for a return of that celebration next year. This coming weekend, another of our new festivals for this season, we have an improv festival in collaboration with a number of local improv organizations. So we're hosting workshops, jams, performances, and then we have a headlining performance by the Groundlings out of LA. They're an improv school and troupe that has launched many comedians that have gone on to SNL and other stardom. So we're looking forward to that. From Center Rep, coming up next is Woman in Black in November. We're here for all the spooky vibes. It's a thriller, and it is the West End production of that work. So we're bringing that here to Walnut Creek. And then we follow that up with the brand new Christmas Carol, which is the West Coast premiere of this adaptation of A Christmas Carol. We will still be in Victorian England. There will still be ghosts. It's still holiday magic, but it is a different lens of the story, looking more from Tim's perspective and looking more at how our community can be more inclusive of all different types of people. So we hope that you will all join us for the inaugural year of A Christmas Carol. And that's my updates.
I think it's so smart that you're doing the collaborations for Center Rep to bring costs down a bit. And yay to whoever got SF Jazz to Walnut Creek. We went to the show, I can't remember his name right now, I'm so sorry, last spring. where you announced it.
Terrence
We went to
Blanchard.
Terrence Blanchard and was shocked to see that the attendance wasn't full. And then we went to Branford Marsalis. It was so great to see a full theater. So it's a wonderful collaboration, and that's going to bring lots more people into Walnut Creek, be able to hear jazz here and not have to go to the city. So thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, should we move into commissioners' announcements and brief reports on activities?
Does Emily have any other staff?
Oh, sorry, staff. Emily?
Emily, and then I've got a couple things from Miley.
Here I am for the 50th time this evening. But from a gallery perspective, Observations of a Still Life opened at the end of last month. So that show's been doing very, very well. I think we're pretty much booked up with school tours, if not completely full. So that's pretty exciting for us. If you want to see my face again and hear again from me, I'm doing the Cocktails and Conversation event for this exhibition. So I'm going to do a curator tour on November 6th at 5:30 to 7. And you'll get to learn kind of about how myself and my staff developed the exhibition, how we chose the artists, and then learn a little bit about the artists in the show as well. And also treats from Montesacro and drinks too, if you're 21. And moving into the rest of November, we have our annual Craft Fest. It's its 16th year on November 22nd from 10 to 5. Vendors are already selected, and we are advertising that pretty heavily, so please attend Craft Fest if you're around. It's really, really wonderful. We have over 30 vendors every year, and it's, kind of that holiday magic that happens in the gallery. We'll close Observations of a Still Life in mid-December, and then we are very, very excited to open Viola Fry Foundations in early January. So Viola Fry is a legendary ceramic artist in the Bay Area. And she has a book that just was published, a monograph. And so we developed an exhibition based on that to focus on her early career. Lots of focus is placed on her later career and her monumental works, but we're really showing kind of her journey to how she got to these monumental works. So we're very excited for that. And that opens January 10th. And it opens at from 4 to 7. And if you're interested, arts commissioners get to come for preview from 4 to 5. Questions?
I have a question for the, will someone send us an email about the November 6th gathering to discuss?
I can.
Perfect, thank you.
Sure.
It's the first I was seeing the Viola Fry is going to be the subject. Is that the first time you've done a one-person gallery exhibit?
No, we try to space out our solo shows a little bit just to kind of provide variety for the people coming into the gallery, but we're actually doing 2 solo shows this year, so Viola is the first, and then we're hosting Inocencio Jimenez Chino's first ever retrospective, and that is a gallery first. We've never done a retrospective for an artist before, so that is coming out of the Bedford's curatorial staff, and that show will then travel all over the U.S. Oh, sorry, one more update. Rediscovering Native America, which was our traveling show from last year, just opened at the Mills Building in San Francisco for its first travel venue. So if you didn't get a chance to see it here or you want to see it again, now's your chance. It's open through January, and then it heads out to Pennsylvania after that.
Where's the Mills building?
The Mills Building is in San Francisco.
Okay.
Is this an info we can find on the website, like Bedford Gallery? Okay.
Yes. Yep. Thank you.
Okay, and I'll just share a few things from Miley at Center for Community Arts. Also on November 22nd, it's their annual Chili Bowl fundraiser alongside the Clay Arts Guild. So Guild members have made lovely ceramic bowls, which you can eat chili from. And there will be over 200 handmade bowls to choose from, and the proceeds, 100% of the proceeds, go towards student scholarships for ceramics. And then December 6th through 7th is the handcrafted holiday sale at the Shadelands Art Center. Local artwork from over 60 student artists and teaching artists. Wide range of offerings: ceramics, paintings, prints, jewelry, fiber arts, a little bit of everything. And a portion of the proceeds from that event also benefit scholarships.
Now for commissioner announcements and brief reports on activities. Should we go down the line?
What have I done? I haven't seen the Bedford Gallery new exhibit yet, but I really want to. I'm definitely gonna go to it really soon. And then I don't know if this counts as city art, but I got here from rehearsal at Northgate High School for the fall show. It's Carrie, and it opens tomorrow. So
Yay.
I need to mark it for that. Everyone come see Carrie. Thank you.
How long's it playing till?
It's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday this
Okay.
week.
Now or never.
I also attended the Bedford show and it was amazing. So please go see it before it closes. It's remarkable as always. I had the opportunity to be on a panel today to speak a group of BSU students from the district about art and what art career looks like. And I tapped into some of our staff here for some volunteer opportunities, what that looks like from our city. So I learned we have so much to offer for young folks, and also learned that they're very interested in art, and there's several questions. So it was a really artistic, empowering day overall for the community. So I was grateful to share that.
I'll put a plug in for the California Symphony because I am married to an audiophile. And so it's been our second season with the director Donato Cabrera, who's really creative in the way that he conducts and invites young conductors. So it's inviting a lot of like a younger crowd to come, and it's a really cool symphony because you can drink, you can raise your hands, you can do like different things that in the past you couldn't do. So I highly recommend it. And they're getting booked, but I think you can still find like solo tickets. So yeah, come to the Leisure Center for the California Symphony season.
I've been doing public art walking tours. I typically do tour number 4, and I am doing that on the third Saturday in November at 10 o'clock. And the mayor will be joining me, along with one other docent, Carol Fowler, who's amazing. And I also did tour number 2 recently, which is not my normal tour. And it was great to have some very long-term Walnut Creek residents on the tour who had never stopped to notice some of the art I was showing them. They were like shocked, like, this has been here for this long. So I highly recommend that all commissioners and any future commissioners, especially if they're watching this meeting, make it a point to go on all 4 tours so they can learn the collection and know where everything is, so nothing is a surprise when they hear about it from somebody else.
Well, I've done one of the tours now, the second one, I think, so I got 3 more to go.
The last quarter's been busy. I've had the really awesome opportunity to work with Sister June Hamamoto, who's a master origami and Zen Buddhist monk out of Plum Village International. She has Folding for Justice, which is a project at San Quentin Penitentiary. And on September 6th, we held a full-scale day of peace that involved all of the men that reside there at the facility showing their artwork, having origami, music, dance, and kind of the power of the arts in transformative healing spaces. After that, been supporting another local artist, Erin Yoshi. She was commissioned with grants from the Little Tokyo Business Association, the Neighborhood Council, and Arts District Business Improvement District in Los Angeles, where she completed a 200-foot around full wrap, 15-foot tall walls in Los Angeles and Little Tokyo. If you're ever around the Mary Knoll area, you should check out her art piece. And then most recently, in Denver at the Denver Art Museum, working with a national network of Latinx therapists that really kind of center healing and the Latinx migrant people's experience and servicing that community, and kind of the power of this particular art exhibition that they were supporting, and kind of human migration as a whole, and kind of this notion that what we're going through today in the current political climate with ICE, with immigrant blaming, just the larger historical context in not only this country but in the world of how people have moved. And I highly recommend the Denver Art Museum. I had not spent a lot of time there, and we did quite a few different events inside the space, and they have incredible galleries. Thank you.
Do you know if that's a permanent collection? My folks live there, so I'll be visiting them so much.
No, I think the particular one that we were collaborating on them with is only until the end of this year. But I think their permanent collection on the 4th floor is worth seeing. Supposed to, can we adjourn? Is that what I say? Oh my God. All, bye.